Okay, my friends, I've just moved the CHEMBUSTERS. As you can see, the frequency pattern I was showing you in the skies, it's changed the cloud formations. I doubt that's actually 10 minutes since I was making the video. So you can see the dramatic changes. When you see those frequency lines, it goes through a certain pattern, routine. You see it fine and crisp. You see the very well defined frequency lines. It looks like a fingerprint in the sky. And you can see all the parallel effects in the sky. And then after 10 minutes, that slowly will fade away. You can still see the lines, but become less defined, less defined, less defined, until they change into this cloud. I believe some people have called that a mackerel fish sky. I really don't know the new phrases people are using to describe this, but that was the frequency lined bit of sky that I showed you. I have found definitive documents, scientific journals, papers now explaining exactly how HAARP is used to affect this in the sky. So I can categorically assure you that what we have seen, what I've shown you, was HAARP in action. And this is happening very, very often, frequently. And I'm now familiar with the changes in the clouds and can tell you exactly what's going to happen. And this isn't me being psychic, is it? I've just been doing my research like each and every single one of us can do. I put links now on all of my videos, links to this information so that this become common knowledge. Well, what I've videoed 10 minutes ago, before I moved the CHEMBUSTERS, and what we could see in the sky, the frequency signature, and now 10 minutes later you can see the change in the clouds. There is still a frequency signature there, you can see sort of parallel lines, but now you can see the effect of the vibration. They're heating up the particles, they vibrate, and they've attracted what moisture there is in the sky, and they've created this blanket effect. It's absolutely real, and this is evidence. This is fact. They are manipulating our weather without our consent. The people do not consent to this. Evidence is there. They deny chemtrails, but we all know chemtrails are there. And those of us that are fortunate enough to have had access to independent laboratories can verify and demonstrate the higher than safe levels of aluminium, barium, strontium, cadmium, arsenic, and many other ingredients that just should not be there in the rain. And the only reason they're in the rain is because complicit governments, which officially deny this is going on, are participating in a worldwide weather control program. And these are the nations under the power of the Crown Corporation, of the City of London Corporation, Washington DC, a 10 square mile independent city-state, and Vatican City. These are the nations using the Freemasons, the Zionists, the members, the Committee of 300. These are all real, and they use these to dominate the planet, to control the media, to control education. They set up and use the United Nations to dominate nations that don't come into line. A perfect example in the 60s was the Belgium Congo, when they managed to get their freedom. They were using the democratic process, and they found a leader they were happy with, and they started to prosper and develop. And the United Nations, the people behind the United Nations, wanted to maintain colonial power over that nation. So they funded terrorists to go in there and create disturbance, just like they've done in Libya, and they're trying to attempt to do in Syria. They pay mercenaries to go into these nations and cause mayhem, and the governments have to put down these people, and then they are seen to be oppressive governments. And then that's the excuse for the UN and the people behind the UN to go in, send troops in, and to dominate and change the government, and then bring that back into colonial power through a puppet democracy. It's not seen any longer as a colonial power, but of course it is. Now this is happening still today. That was in the 60s. It's still happening today. It's happened recently in Libya last year. That was an illegal war. I'm not saying that Colonel Gaddafi wasn't a nice fella or something. I'm not saying he was a bad fella. I'm not saying anything about him. His nation was raped and pillaged and destroyed because of an agenda to control all the nations of the world. Now the agenda, let's have a look at these two up here. Spray, spray, spray. Of course this isn't natural. You can't get long elongated chemtrails, contrails like this. These are chemtrails. Now, the reason that they went to war in Libya, the reason they went to war in Iraq, the reason they're bombing Somalia, the reason they're bombing Yemen, the reason they're going into Afghanistan, the reason they go into all these nations is for an agenda. And that agenda is to control the finances of the world. Those nations on the axis of evil had independent central banks. That meant that the Rothschilds and all their banking associates didn't have their fingers in their central banking system. And in order to bring in a one world currency, which is their vehicle to control all the people on this planet, they need to dominate and change those governments. So that is why we're having these wars on these nations who are resisting the New World Order. The New World Order is these three big cities. Now remember, the City of London Corporation is an independent small city within the greater City of London. And that's where all the banks are, hundreds of banks. That's where basically all the heads of the control of the entire world are there. They're there, right in the middle of London. And it's connected totally with the Vatican City. If you look at the history of the Catholic organisation, they are the bloodiest organisation on this planet, responsible for more deaths of human beings than any other organisation. They have more wealth, matched perhaps possibly only by the Queen and the Crown Corporation. But it's absolutely vital that we come to terms with the facts. This is what's necessary, my friends. We have to understand the way they succeed in their domination of the planet is through deception. Through deception and domination. Now, all of that is done by our own consent. We are lazy. We don't take responsibility enough for our own lives. People don't stand up and say, no, this is the way I want to live. They just follow the rules. These rules that have been made up by a corrupt organisation to dominate us. Isn't it interesting that you can see one plane flying across with potentially a normal contrail, and we've got these great big long elongated chemtrails all over the place. Literally, they're everywhere, my friends. It's phenomenal what's happening in these skies, and yet the governments would officially deny that geoengineering is happening now. Oh, they totally deny it. No, it's not happening. Well, obviously we can see with our own eyes that of course it is happening. Yeah, it is. It's happening right now. It's absolutely incredible, my friends, that all this mass deception can be going on. This is what we're talking about. It's a mass deception. These groups have been conning the world for a long time and accruing all the finances and all the resources and everything necessary to dominate us. Well, it's up to us to say that enough is enough. We do not consent to this. You do not have power over us. That power is a falsehood. We've all agreed to it, but we don't need to agree to it. In actual fact, the truth is what we need to do is remember we were given laws to live a long time ago. They were passed to Moses. Now, I am not a religious man. I was brought up as a Catholic, and that is why I am not a religious man, because the Catholic Church is just an organisation used to dominate and control human beings. However, I do believe in God. I do believe in God. And I do believe that the original 10 Commandments given to Moses, those are the laws of God, and those are all the laws we need to live by, my friends. And the Crown Corporation know this, the Queen knows this. They have no right to introduce all these laws. They have no right under God's law, and God's law are the original natural laws that human beings are supposed to live by. And if we lived by those laws, we will all have a happy and prosperous life. And the government have failed in their duty to take care of us. They have their own greedy, corrupted agenda, which is satanic. satanic. The Freemasons, the high Freemasons, they all worship Lucifer. The Illuminati is real. That's the Committee of 300, and these people are all rooted in these three cities: the City of London Corporation, the Vatican City, and Washington DC, District of Columbia, the 10 square mile city-state. Take care, my friends. Please research these verifiable facts for yourselves and learn to communicate, overcoming the isms. These were created by very, very clever people. Sigmund Freud was one of them, who understand what the human psyche, how it responds, and how to control it. They've been working on brainwashing us for a long time. It's up to us to overcome all this, and we can with knowledge. See those vibrations, and now the clouds are totally changed. Quite incredible, my friends. But we can understand it. We can learn about it. And when you do understand it and realise it's a fact that weather modification is happening, you can then be motivated to tell everyone you know and change everything. Take care, my friends, and bye for now.